on Tuesday, we were looking at hitting the guillotine from deep half guard. But we did show you this setup on how to get the deep half guard. A lot of people, when they're playing knee shield, they want to control the inside space. Okay? My knee is a distance maker. What does Carl want? Carl wants me flat on my back. He wants to win an underhook, and he wants a crossface. From here now, he can start initiating his passing. Notice the way he's the underhook, he's head control, and I'm flat. That's his goal. My goal is to stay on my side. When I'm on my side, I have more mobility. I want to win the underhook, and I don't want him cross-facing me. So from there, my knee shield will be either high in his shoulder, that's one way of playing it, with the foot on the hip. As Carl tries to get head control, I can keep him back. The other thing I don't want Carl doing is smashing my knee down just with his body. He can just turn his body, yes, to smear my knee down. Whereas if I make a frame with my arm across, and now when he tries to smear that down, it's difficult. I now have inside position with my left arm. It's quite easy now for me to kick up, win that underhook, switch to maybe leech half guard, and then from there I can start to get into positions where I can start to sweep guard and do things. That would be the person on the bottom's game. Okay, they want the underhook, they want to stay on the side, and they don't want to give up head control. So we want to do the opposite, obviously. So if you were here last Thursday, we showed you two different ways of approaching passing the half guard. We showed you a parallel way, okay, and then we showed you Henry Akins' favourite way, which is getting perpendicular, which means he's carrying my weight. So say I was in a knee shield from this position, I'd be dropping into a reverse cross face. Carl's probably going to be triangling his legs, so he calls this home base position. The good thing about it is Carl's carrying my weight. But last time we started from this position, let's look about how we're going to get there, how past this knee shield. More than likely, Carl's going to either have a high knee shield, which is more advantageous for him if he's looking to win the underhook. If his arm is on the inside, when he kicks up with that leg, now he's got inside position. Let's just say Carl had his high knee shield, but his arm was on the outside. Okay, the minute he kicks up with the leg, I win the underhook, and I'm going to flatten him out. So it's advantageous for the person playing guard is to keep that inside position. He knows I want head control, I want the crossface. Ideally, I want this. But he's got two hands stopping that. So that's difficult to stop. But it's very difficult for Carl to stop my arm coming this side. Okay, he can stop me trying to grab his head, which would be the crossface. So this is called a reverse crossface. So I'm going to make him carry my weight. So I just start to, notice the way my butt is on my heels. I'm going to start lifting my butt off my heels so my weight's on Carl. He's framing, but now this arm comes across, my elbow drops beside his ear, and I turn my body. So in other words, my left hip is turning, and I drop down. I'm looking chest to chest connection. I don't want Carl here. Alright, we talked about how I want to flatten him out. So we end up here. I'm using the ball of my foot just to push. Okay. He also talked about how I didn't want my elbow on the mat. If my elbow's on the mat, and I walk my leg out as far as I can, and it's in the side control, I don't really have the control. Okay. He's not carrying my weight. So it's hard to see this visually. Just turn this way. My elbow's actually off the mat. Okay. Hand can just grab the armpit. I'll probably use this hand for base. I'm not concerned whether he has an underhook or whether his arm is here. Framing, it doesn't really matter. I just want to make him carry my weight. And I'm just going to flatten him out from this position. Notice the way when I flatten him out, my knee line is actually starting to come out from between the sides. So this is the Henry Akins calls this the home base position. Now obviously from here, Carl will be trying to put me back in the guard. For him to put me back in the guard, his head has to move this way. In other words, if I had a cross face from this position, he'll move his head this way and bring his knee in, and you're easily lost the position again. So that reverse cross face is doing a job. Now, we talked about how I want carrying my weight, but if I really feel his head moving, I will put it on the mat. And I'll put my weight on the elbow. So he can't move his head. If he tries to re-guard from there, very, very difficult. And then when he stops trying to move his head this way, my elbow comes off the mat. And I'll just cup, and then I keep walking my foot out, and now he's carrying my weight. If he plays it with a lower down knee shield, whether it's in your belly or whether he's crossed ankles, and sometimes people will play it nearly in your hip. If you've noticed from this position now, I can only get so far, if that makes sense. If he's playing it more in my belly, it's his shin that's across my stomach. So now when I turn, I just don't get there. So from here, how do we get rid of this? Once I'm here, notice the way my hips are still in my heels. I want to bring my hips in line with my knees. So in other words, I use my stomach to push his knee this way. Okay? When I do that, notice the way my hips come in line with my knees. So if I can't get past this knee shield because it's here, it's just a matter of me doing this, and then the turn, and then the release. Okay? Especially in no-gi, a lot of people play the Z-guard with crossed ankles. And this time they're using their knee in your hip, and it's quite uncomfortable, and they're clamping, trying to get head control, car stopping it. I'll only get so far, and then now his knee's in the way. It's the same stuff. We need to clear this knee. So think about just basically engaging your hip. My hips, when I bring my stomach forward, come in line with my knee. Jam it on tight there, bro. So it's that. And then I drop into this space I've created. Okay? Once I'm here, I need to have an active toe. I definitely don't want to be here. We'll talk about that in the next move. My toe has connection on the mat. So whenever he starts to try and move and turn, I'm making him carry my weight. Notice see the way he's got his elbow inside from that position, and he's turning on the side. All the good things that he wants to do. What do I want to do? I'm going to make him carry my weight. I don't go chest to chest. Why? Because he's on his side. So now my sternum is going to be pushing on that shoulder. I put my weight where he's going. And as I do that, I'll bring my elbow in and walk my leg out. So once I get to there and Clark tries to turn onto the side, I'm just constantly putting weight and pressure on him here. Sagging. Okay. If I feel his head's moving that way, I will put it on the mat and crunch it in. Okay? Then when I feel him stop trying to put me in the guard, my elbow comes back off the mat. I'm constantly walking my leg out to the side. Think about it, you're in side control. He just happens to have snagged your leg. And we want to be not concerned too much about freeing this leg yet. We want to be making him work harder than you. So, again, if it's a high knee shield, we're going to start cupping the head. We're not going to cross face because we know we can put him in the guard. This arm just comes across. And again, I turn my left hip and I drop into that space. Notice where my left leg is. I start walking without. That's already freeing up my knee line. I'm not worried too much about this. Now the goal is make him carry your weight, flatten him out, and just concentrate on keeping top position. Yeah? If he has it in your belly, which is more the shin line, okay, we're still going to try and grab his head, and then I use my stomach, so it's just that. Keep it in tight. And then I drop into it again. If he's playing that sort of more no-gi, they clamp on their knees in your hip. And then you just feel I can't get into that position that's there. So it's just basically that. Doesn't look like much, but it's a big thing. Then from here, just big focus on walking this out and really. I like to keep this palm out here just for base. And we're going to be looking at, there's an arm lock, we can attack from here. Focus on keeping his head in, walking out, and just staying heavy, making him work harder than you. You're comfortable, he's uncomfortable.